Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, September 19th, 2016. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Tourism consultant Vera Ann Brayton is emphasizing the importance of tackling crime in this country. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Brayton said with the spate of robberies taking place in the country, it is critical that the issue be addressed with urgency. She said while it is unreasonable to think that crime, which is a global issue, can be totally wiped out, it impacts not only human safety but also the tourism sector.
We reduce the incidence of crime against tourism and manage it in the sense that we manage the impacts that the crime has against or on the industry. What can one do? First of all, I don't know. I'm not privy to stats against crime against tourists. So one has to do some research. What is exactly happening in this in terms of crime against tourists? How many incidents? What kind of incidents? What cause it? Is it a result of poor information given to visitors? Is it a problem of visitors, as we like to say, leaving their brains at home and relaxing too much and doing things that they'll never do at home? Or is it that there is a problem of an economic problem that is forcing people to commit crimes against tourists? We need to find out that, first of all, find out what is the situation.
The tourism consultant said other than carrying out research to find the actual causes of crime, communities must get involved in the fight against this social ill.
An example of predial larceny, which I don't think is working. I mean, the solutions that have been implemented, I don't think they're working. They don't appear to be working. And I think probably because it was probably not properly thought through. And I think this is very important for us in creating a strategy to handle crime against tourists. It must be carefully and properly thought out, not just by people directly involved in tourism or the police, the security people, private and public, but communities, because communities can help in managing crime against tourists. They can give information, they can be the watchdogs and the eyes and ears of the police and help them.
And Executive Director of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Tony Regisford, says more effort is required in addressing the causes of crime as it affects all sectors of society.
You're talking about the hospitality industry, and I mean that is even more sensitive, because if you are inviting people to come to Simmons and the Grenadines as tourists, and they come and as a result they feel threatened, their security is threatened, then clearly it is not an experience that they will want to repeat. So they won't come back and they will tell people not to come. And there goes the industry that you're trying to create. So it is as simple as that. Crime has to be controlled for the citizens of Simmons and the Grenadines, and we have to make a big effort to ensure that when we invite people here, they have a hassle-free experience. And certainly you don't want to expose them to danger in terms of their lives or, being robbed, mugged.
Regisford also made an appeal for persons to stop using poverty as an excuse for committing crimes, as there will be consequences for their unlawful actions.
We should desist from criminal activity. There is no excuse for it. I know people blame the condition of the economy and all sorts of other excuses to carry out nefarious activities. There is simply no excuse for it. So I would hope that the law is administered effectively. I hope that the people who are trying to curtail, the law enforcement people who are trying to curtail these activities, are given the support by the general public, and the people who have in mind to commit crimes of one sort or the other, I will urge them to desist.
Capital City Kingstown will soon be getting a major cleanup. On radio recently, Minister of Transport and Works Julian Francis said the cleanup of Kingstown is long overdue, with particular attention being paid to disorganized vending within city limits.
have to rein it in, and I intend to rein it in. I started in the early part of this year to do some cleaning. Not touching the vendors and removing vendors yet, but that will have to come. We have to clean up our act. We need, as a people, to respect law and order and the procedures for development in this country. Too many persons are just arbitrarily, whether on public or private property, do as they please.
Minister Francis also said a new cruise ship is expected soon with some 4,000 passengers, and the capital must be given a facelift.
I understand that a new cruise line is planning to come to St. Vincent. This cruise line, this cruise ship that comes here, will come here, will be carrying 4,000 persons on board. 4,000. And they have promised a certain number of visits for this season, with a double for the next season if everything is satisfactory for the first season. I am not one who wants to use tourists as an excuse to clean up. I don't need that.
The area in which the old Treasury building was located and now being used as a temporary car park and leisure area will soon be put to another use. Minister of Transport and Works Julian Francis outlined on radio recently that a government administrative building will be constructed on the site. Francis acknowledged that there have been calls for a leisure and free parking area in Kingstown, and while he acknowledges the need for such an area within the city, using that particular area in the heart of Kingstown for parking and leisure would be too costly to the government given the cost to rent from private property owners.
It is the intention of the Ministry of Local Government to turn that, for the period that we are not going to be ready to start the rebuilding, into a paid parking lot. So there will be some extra cleaning up done, and there will come a time. Right now persons are enjoying free parking, but it is the intention of Ministry of Local Government to give it to the Kingstown board to run as a paid parking lot for the period of time that it will be left vacant. The seats and so on that are there will stay. Maybe we'll plant 2 trees over those 2 seats. Maybe we'll put in another seat somewhere else.
According to Minister Francis, in the meantime, the area, which can accommodate approximately 70 vehicles, will soon become a paid parking lot. He said that Cabinet has already given the Kingstown Board approval to assist in the operation, which falls under his ministry.
So there will be another paid parking in Kingstown, apart from the car park on the waterfront and down by Careers. So I just want to give that out for public notice. It would always be nice if one can put, that into permanent leisure and a leisure area, but it's too costly to the government and the taxpayers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to keep that, and it is the intention of the government to rebuild a nice looking building, to incorporate the existing one where the registry is now, and we are in the process of renovating the audit office there.
In an effort to share practical and innovative experiences as well as impart knowledge to health professionals in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Taiwan Changhua Christian Hospital, or CCH, invited 3 Vincentian health officers to participate in the CCH's customized programs. At a media briefing earlier today, the 3 officers shared their experiences along with how they believe their new skills will aid in the enhancement of the local health sector. We hear more in this report from Nikita Tony.
In an attempt to deepen the medical cooperation between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Taiwan Shenghua Christian Hospital CCH, 3 medical officers in the persons of Rosita King, Andrew Williams, and Lisa Llewellyn-Sprott were given the opportunity to visit and participate in the CCH training program in July of this year. Communications Officer in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Nika Anderson-Isaac, highlighted that relations between the CCH and this country were established since 2010 and expressed the ministry's hopes that the visits will work to further solidify cooperation between both the Republic of China on Taiwan and SVG.
The hospital is one body, but all the systems are interrelated, and in order for us to improve our health sector, every area of health needs to move along. So our IT department is able to connect and provide information throughout the entire health sector, and the hope is eventually that even if you're discharged from the hospital and you're now going to the clinic, they're able to pull up your information at the clinic. So it cuts down on waiting, it improves the service that is provided to Vincentian, and also through this medium, there's exchange of culture. It enlightens and it opens up our way of thinking.
Senior Nursing Officer at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital, MCMH, Sister Rosita King, commended both the CCH and the Ministry of Health for seeing the need to partner and promote a better healthcare sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Experience gain will help me to now work towards implementing some improvement projects, such as improvements in our quality department, and these are things like improving our care for our patients, in working towards looking at improving generally, not only for the patient but my staff, so I can look at improving their motivation. We know that diabetes is one of our greatest threats here, and looking at their system in relation to their health education and their program, it have afforded me the opportunity to now to implement some of those activities at the MCMH.
Assistant Hospital Administrator at the MCMH, Andrew Williams, said that the visit will play a key role in the enhancement of this nation's secondary healthcare services.
We are trying to merge our hospitals here through our reform program. This visit is coming on the heels of that project, where we are looking to have secondary health care services being managed under one unit. In doing so, information technology would be one of the key players in merging these secondary health care services.
Coordinator of the Health Information System, Lisa Llewellyn-Sprott, in her presentation outlined her hopes of even greater cooperation between the CCH and the Ministry of Health.
We have actually proposed as well to the mission at Shenghua that we would like to actually get different volunteers to come to work along with the IT, the information technology unit, to improve our skill set. Important to note that for the Ministry of Health to actually get to the level that Taiwan is at the moment, we have to make certain changes here in the mindset of our people. We need a cultural change of adopting technology throughout the entire health sector. You know, it's a change. This is the 21st century, and we have to move with current times. There is a draft in Electronic Health Act, and these are areas that we need to actually get out there and to implement it.
The Ministry of Health and the Environment urges all Vincentians to get on board, support and partner with the ministry and the government in their efforts as they try to enhance the health information system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Nikita Tony.
A newborn baby boy who was found by some villagers of Fitzhugh last Wednesday in a pit latrine died on Sunday at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital. Reports are that the baby died from septic poisoning. The mother, who is in her mid to late 30s, was released over the weekend from the hospital. Senior prosecutor at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, Adolphus Delplesh, told SVG-TV News today that while he is yet to receive the facts of the matter as it relates to the circumstances surrounding the death of the newborn, several charges could be brought against the mother.
Speak specifically to that. But in the circumstances as I heard of it, The possible charges they can range from murder, manslaughter, infanticide, based on what I would have heard, but I don't know the facts. I haven't seen statements. I haven't spoken to any investigators. Now, infanticide is where a woman would have given birth, but she would have killed the child being within 12 months, with the age of 12 months. And she was suffering from what I call lactation, and she would not have been fully recovered from giving birth. The evidence shows that would what we call infanticide, or it could be manslaughter, as I said, or murder. Those are the possible charges based on the circumstances that she can get, or there might even be an inquest.
Prosecutor Dalplush also made an appeal to persons with information on the matter to come forward.
Yeah, well, the police would make that appeal. It would be good for them to come forward to the police to give that information. If they have any information, they can go to the police and give that information.
The Forestry Department is again sounding a warning to all persons who are primarily consumers of the local freshwater aquatic life, such as crayfish. This warning comes on the heels of the recent confiscation of about 10 pounds of crayfish by the local police from several persons offering these items for sale. According to a report from the Police Public Relations Department on Tuesday, September 13th, information reaching the relevant authorities indicated that there was an incident of poisoning at the Rabica Dry River. Following these reports, quantities of crayfish were observed to be available for sale in the immediate communities, which led to the intervention by the police, who are now being assisted by 7 persons in their investigations. The Forestry Department advises persons against purchasing and consumption of all such products originating from the rivers and streams unless the origin and method of harvesting can be ascertained and proven. The department is also reminding that the consumption of these animals caught under such conditions can lead to death. The department also cautions persons involved in harvesting of these animals to abide by the legal methods of harvesting, as it contravenes Section 29D of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1991. This act indicates that any person who permits the deposit of any poisonous substance in the waters frequented by fish, shrimp, or crabs in any place is guilty of an open offense, liable to a fine of $2,000 and imprisonment for 6 months. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court will commence the new law term 2016-2017 with its usual ceremonial opening in the form of a special sitting of the court tomorrow, Tuesday, September 20th. There will be simultaneous special sittings in the other 8 member states and territories of the OECS. The proceedings will commence with a church service at the Kingstown Methodist Church starting at 8 a.m., followed by a procession to the courthouse in Kingstown, where the special sitting of the court will be held. The Chief Justice, Dame Janice Pereira, will deliver the opening address at 10:30 a.m. from the High Court of Justice in St. Lucia, where the Court of Appeal will be held. Challenging students both at the secondary and tertiary levels to give life to their ideas and innovation, the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, on Friday, September 16th, 2016, launched its 2016 edition of the I2 competition at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College Villa campus. We hear more about the event in this report from SVG-TV's Nikita Tony.
The National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, NTRC, launched for the 4th consecutive year its I2 competition last Friday, September 16th, in the hope of giving secondary and tertiary level students the opportunity to develop and present ideas and mobile applications, which may in turn lead to the implementation of new systems or improve on already existing ones. Project coordinator Keisha Gurley noted that the main aim of the competition is to develop entrepreneurial skills among the nation's youth.
Secondary schools, institutes, all divisions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College are allowed to enter the competition and will be judged in separate categories. Students must explain what really makes their project innovative, and therefore are expected to go out into the businesses in the private sector in which they are proposing the changes to be made, and to which their ideas or mobile applications apply, and conduct their research processes. Students entering the competition can use the competition as a foundation to develop the next well-known application across the world.
Director of the NTRC, Apollo Knights, pointed out that the I-Squared competition sought to develop its participants so that they can fit into the ever-changing technological world.
In summary, ladies and gentlemen, we want St. Vincent and Grenadines to be not only an importer of software, but a creator and exporter of software. This I-Squared competition is one part of the NTRC strategy in trying to facilitate this objective. We'll be able to create more skilled persons that can work with these companies that build apps or other software. So while we cannot all be entrepreneurs like us, we can also be good skilled workers that businesses want to hire, both locally and globally.
Digicel's Business Solutions Manager, Carlon Brown, urged participants to take full advantage of their involvement in the competition, as mobile apps are swiftly becoming a necessity in everyday living.
So apps are really big business in today's world. And I'm pretty sure everyone in this room entering this competition has the opportunity to be a key player in next year's statistics. That being said, I want to encourage participants to take this competition seriously, but at the same time, don't be afraid to push the boundaries of your creativity. Remember, there are no bad ideas, and be proud of your accomplishments regardless of the outcome. At the end of the day, we're all winners.
Manager and developer of the Conservi app and former competitor in the NTRC I-Squared competition, Cenas Hines, commended the NTRC for having the foresight to tap into the creative minds of the Vincentian youth.
A brilliant initiative by the NTRC, which acts as a springboard for many persons in the mobile app sector. We'll really be able to see the full potential of students as their creative reach is no longer limited, as they develop the ideas which can now span far beyond this competition and even be implemented as full businesses. You know, when you're bringing your ideas to life, especially for the private sector, be very specific about what it does and who it's for. If you're specific, your point comes across clearer and your chances of being successful, whether in this competition or others, increases exponentially.
Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.